Ann Cotton, England's most infamous female serial killer. Between 1860 and 1873, she left a chilling trail of death, claiming at least 21 victims, including her own children, husbands, and lovers. Her deadly weapon of choice was arsenic. Her cold-hearted motive was collecting life insurance payouts. 3 husbands, a lover, her own mother, a friend, and even her innocent children, all poisoned to satisfy her greed. But her sinister spree ended in 1872, when suspicion caught up with her, leading to her dramatic arrest and trial. Mary Ann Cotton met her fate at the gallows in 1873, leaving behind a legacy of greed, murder, and dark Victorian horror.
Everyone goes on about Jack the Ripper, but do you know Mary Ann Cotton? She was wild. Mary and her husband William had 5 kids, but they would sadly all die of the stomach flu. So they had more kids, but sadly within a year, 2 of the 3 would die of the stomach flu. So her husband takes out a life insurance policy on the family, which at this point just makes sense, but he too would succumb to symptoms relating to the stomach flu. In the 1800s, people were often malnourished, they were exposed to like everything, and so dying of the stomach flu or gastric fever was like the go-to diagnosis. However, the symptoms of the stomach flu are suspiciously similar to the symptoms of arsenic poisoning. Mary played the part of mourning mother perfectly while she poisoned their tea and collected their life insurance checks. Mary would kill 11 of her 13 children, 3 of her 4 husbands, her mother, a stranger's baby, 3 of her 4 stepchildren, her sister-in-law, her secret lover. They all died of gastric fever.
In 1898, a quiet English village was shaken to its core. My name is Mary Ann Cotton, and I am responsible for the deaths of at least 21 people, including my own children. Let me reveal the darkness that consumed me. I was born into poverty, and my father died in a mining accident when I was young. Money was always scarce, and I turned to marriage for financial stability. But I found another way to secure my future, through death. My first 3 husbands mysteriously fell ill and died, their symptoms resembling those of gastric fever. But the truth was far more sinister. I had poisoned them with arsenic. With each death, I collected life insurance money, ensuring I could live comfortably. But I didn't stop there. Neighbors, friends, my own children, all became victims. Each time the story was the same, sudden, inexplicable illness followed by death. No one suspected a seemingly grieving widow. Finally, suspicions arose when my stepson fell ill. A thorough investigation revealed traces of arsenic. My fate was sealed. I became known as one of Britain's first female serial killers, driven by greed and a hunger for power. Share this video with someone who loves true crime stories. Follow for more crime chronicles.
This is the story of the 19th century serial killer, Mary Ann Cotton, also known as the Black Widow. In 1852, 20-year-old Mary Ann married William Marbury. They moved to southwest England, where they had their daughter Margaret Jane in 1856. Mary and William then moved back to northeast England so he could be a fireman. They then had another daughter named Isabella in 1858. The first daughter, Margaret Jane, died in 1860. She turned right around and had another daughter in 1861 and named her the exact same thing, Margaret Jane. She then had a son named John in 1863 who died that next year of a fever. Then her husband William died in 1865 of an intestinal disorder. Mary Ann collected a half year's wage for her husband's William death and a fourth of a year's wage for her son John's death. Soon after her husband's death, Mary Ann moved to County Durham, where her 3-year-old daughter, the second Margaret Jane, died of a fever. Mary Ann ended up getting a job at the infirmary and sent her last daughter, Isabella, to live with her mother. She married a patient at the infirmary named George Ward in 1865. This is the same year her first husband, William, died. George died in 1866 from intestinal problems. She collected the insurance money and moved on to James Robinson. He hired her as a housekeeper. 1 month into her job, James' baby dies from a fever. He turned to Mary Ann for comfort, and she became pregnant. While pregnant, Mary Ann's mother became ill, but it wasn't nothing serious. Mary Ann insisted that she would come take care of her mother and her child, Isabella. Mary Ann's mother was recovering just fine until Mary Ann got there. She started having stomach pains and ended up dying from a fever in 1867. After her mother's death, Mary Ann took Isabella back to James' household, where she soon developed stomach pain and ended up passing, along with James' other two children. They all passed of a fever. You know what? I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this, because this, Mary Ann, this is a lot to unpack, Mary. I need a shot. I'm speechless.